Did you know that approximately 40% of Americans report feeling stressed by their own homes? And 84% of people feel stressed by the clutter in their home. Here are some habits that might surprise you to get that clean and organized home that you've been dreaming of instead of stuck with clutter and mess. You are going to love number 6. Now, in addition to being the most echoey room in the house, the bathroom can be so gross so quickly. I clean it and then poof, it's messy again. It is so gross. It is frustrating and it can be embarrassing if somebody stops by and they're like, I just need to use the little girl's room. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I love the Fly Lady principle just to wipe it every morning. I saw Diane in Denmark demonstrate this years ago. She would just like wipe in the morning and then she would just drop it in the laundry because she did laundry every day. And I love that. She would launder one load per day. Just a quick swish, 30 seconds, and you are done. Then your bathrooms are always clean, and you can teach your kids to do it too, since it's their gross toothpaste that is stuck in the sink. So wipe up those bathrooms in the morning. Now, when I say hotspot, your first thought might be the Hacienda nightclub that New Order owned back in the 1980s in Manchester, right? No? All right. So anyway, I'm not talking about nightlife. I'm talking about those spots in our homes that gather things. For me, it is this darn kitchen desk, or it is the front door, or it is the island in our kitchen. And the problem with hotspots is that the stuff there can become invisible. And the more and more stuff will gather there, which then worsens our clutter problem. So what I do is I now have an alarm on my phone that when I know I'm going to be home, when I will have time, where I can do a quick hotspot clean. And I will spend 1 to 2 minutes per spot, and it is perfect. It is like a little race for myself. So remember the habit of the hot spot clean. Have you ever got super into crafting? Maybe you've been making some cards or you are painting a masterpiece. I painted this. I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but I painted it. So you're having a great time. But when you're done, there is a bit of a mess left over. We also sometimes will accumulate far too many things than we actually need. And maybe even something more relatable to you is cooking dinner. Let's go to the kitchen. I used to get in an argument with my kids about who was going to be cleaning up after cooking dinner because I left such a huge mess. Now, I am still a firm believer that the cook does not clean up after dinner, but that doesn't mean I can't help out just a little bit. So, and this is why I've started tidying as I go. The dishwasher open, and just maybe throwing anything gross in the garbage, any chickeny things, just pop them in the dishwasher. To be honest, I feel like it's more of like a food safe, safety kind of thing that I can at least do that. And I think it's just so much faster on the front end. And it honestly adds up to even less than 60 seconds that I am putting in. And the same when you are doing your crafts is if we kind of tidy up as we go, when we're done with something, clean as you go is one of my favorite tips. Do you ever wonder where clutter even comes from? Like, is it breeding and having babies or something? One of the biggest things that contributes to clutter is what is coming in, like in shopping bags. And the clutter has got to go somewhere. Now, I used to just buy things and just figure out what to do with it later. I had crammed cupboards, piles on counters, and messy closets. I really was just like overstuffing my house just by buying so much stuff. Now, I realized that a lot of what I was buying I didn't even need. They were impulse buys. I would come across stuff that was on sale after like Christmas or any kind of holiday. I loved like any of those liquidation places, any of that. And they were impulse buys. So not only were they a clutter causer, but they were a big waste of money, a money waster. I swear sales are the absolute worst. So here's a great hack. that can either take 0 seconds or 24 hours, depending on how you look at it. I like a 24-hour cooling off period before I buy anything. And it works so great with my teens too, who have jobs and they don't want to spend all of their money, but they get a little excited sometimes to buy something. And I feel like it is just really, really handy to have that 24-hour cooling off period because sometimes we're just not going to buy the thing after all. And it gives us a chance to decide where it's going to go if we really need it. 24-hour cooling off period. So when I cook certain meals, the kitchen can get a little bit smoky. I'm not a bad cook, but I like the Maillard reaction, if you know what I mean. A little browning on the meat. Unfortunately, the house can get a little smoky, which then sets off the smoke detectors, and then the whole house alarm goes off, which is not good. And I am terrified somebody's going to call the police because I'm making a stir fry. So I take the smoke detector down from up there, that smoke detector, I take it down, but since I'm only 5'1", it's hard for me to put it back up. It's easy for me to get it down. So I asked my husband after work, and he was like, okay. He knew he could do it before he even sat down and had a cup of tea because he knew if he did it now, he wouldn't have to do it later. When we procrastinate things, they pile up, which then we might forget, which makes the tasks even worse in the future. So if you can get something done in less than 60 seconds, do it now while you're thinking about it. The trick to starting new habits is to start slowly, stack them one by one. I will use reminders on my phone, and when I am to the point where I just do it before I even do the reminder, then I know I can add another one. Sometimes I also like to tack things onto things like eating a meal or brushing my teeth if you don't want to use your phone, which I totally get. Soon you'll be like, my house is so clean and I just absolutely love it. Now, not long ago, I realized that I was buying things that took up space and were wasting money. And do you feel like you are wasting money on these things too? Perhaps you'll have to see what they are. Check this video here. See how to save time and money. Stay tidy and mighty. I hope something great happens for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.